ended the show yesterday discussing the slogan, the hashtag "We Ass," which is the new.
It's really taken off.
It's the new motto of the Tennessee Titans organization. So saith their rookie quarterback. Their former general manager is in studio with us, talking all things NFL and much more. J-Rob, John Robinson, good to see you.
What's up, guys?
Happy birthday to your lovely wife, Jamie.
Yeah, big day yesterday.
Yeah, you shouted out,
celebrated,
celebrated with her
on the socials
with this post.
Yeah,
and you said, "Hey, happy birthday to my best friend for 26 years." It says I can't read.
26.
26. Love you, babe. And I guess it's still my fault. Hashtag we ass. If you know, you know. And then I never thought I'd see this. John Robinson using emojis.
Yeah, and a hashtag. Hashtag and emojis.
Well done here.
Yeah, I'm coming around to technology. You know, I was, you know, the poster, you've got to put it out there for their birthdays, your significant others.
Have to. Yeah,
and
they're expecting it.
And I knew that I was going to catch shrapnel either way. Like if I said anything or said no, I'm just trying to have a little fun.
Yeah.
You know, trying to make sure she has a good day. So
you just lean into it. You know, at this point, you just go ahead and lean right into it. I thought that was very well put. And,
yes.
and credit. It looks like you have help from your children with the emojis. I know I do. I know all about 6'7" now. Whenever you say 6'7", all the kids are
I have no idea
raving
what
about that. It's a. I don't really know what it is either. Other than if you say the number 6 and 7, they're going to go 6'7", 6'7".
Pretty
constantly.
mid. Pretty mid.
There you go. He's got it. He's got all the vocabulary down.
He's
Amazing.
He's with it. I mean, if you're scouting, you're still talking to prospects. They're probably using this terminology.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be 50 in January. Maybe I'll post my own birthday then, try to drum up a little, you know, whatever. But I try to stay, you know, at least somewhat within.
You're with it.
The lingo as best as possible. My girls are big. They drop low key a lot, which it's a little excessive. But hey, if it's the worst thing they say, and then we're probably doing all right.
What do you make of the third string quarterback Shedeur Sanders being in the headlines?
Yeah,
as a GM, what are you thinking if you're overseeing this?
It's just like, let's just focus on the team and like, how can I do my job better and elevate myself from third string to second string to if my number's called, I can go out there and try to put the team in the best position to win the football game.
Yeah,
you know, try to make it about the team, not about yourself.
You know, in the ultimate team sport, which is football, in my opinion, do you see it becoming increasingly harder to find guys in this quote-unquote NIL era where a lot of it is about negotiation and sometimes holding your college team hostage for more money or you're going to move? I feel like that's creating a lot more. First off, we know we live in a big-time me society right now about everything, but is it a unicorn to find the guys like you're talking about, John, that's just all about the team and the team first, and they're willing to be humble and turn themselves over to the team and do the right things? Or are those guys still out there all over the place in football?
Well, I wouldn't say they're all over the place. I mean, I think they do exist, but again, I mean, you nailed it. Like we're in a society now where we try to individualize everything, right? It's all about my marketing. What's my brand going to be? How am I going to be able to maximize my exposure, which at some point turns into the monetization of your likeness, your image, whatever you want to call it. And then when you bleed over into the pro game, you know, we've got this whole fantasy world, and we've got a top 100 players. So we're ranking individuals, and you know, you're putting players on fantasy, and it's not necessarily about the team; it's about the fantasy team, and you want individual players to succeed. So it's this whole big ball of like whatever you want to call it that's created, you know, where we're at in the sports world.
So scouting, like, do you have a line of demarcation where this kind of flipped into like the NBA model of the individualization of like the personality of the player versus just team aspect? Like this was before NIL that this all started.
No doubt.
So, you know, Saban had to adapt to the new age offense, right? Like, do you recall when this made the turn towards where we are now?
I mean, I don't have an exact year, but like, I mean, I would say over the last 10 or 15 years for sure. Like when I was in New England with the Patriots, like we had a bunch of dudes on those teams that were about the team.
Yes.
Like that's what they were about. And, you know, we tried to find those guys and get as many as possible. certainly since I left there, I think it was in 14 when I went to Tampa, it's definitely changed. Yeah, it's definitely changed.
I mean, now you can't run for what is it? You can't run the bleachers now in Minnesota, the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, it was a punitive exercise.
Yeah.
Punishment by exercise was the name of what it was.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. Like I think about your New England days, and we're seeing Bill Belichick now struggle. But Tom Brady is a part of that team. Does it require a Tom Brady or the head of the organization, whoever is on the team, to be that type of dude, and then everyone else falls in line, and then it's very easy to see those that don't fall in line and get rid of them if they don't behind a Tom Brady? But there's not a lot of Tom Bradys out there also.
No, but when your best players kind of embody that spirit, whether it was Tom or whether it was Matt Light or whether it was Danny Copen or whether it was Rodney Harrison on defense or Vrabes or Teddy Bruschi or Wilfork, when you get a bunch of like-minded guys that really embody that mindset, the one or two, it's like we brought Corey Dillon in, right? And Corey Dillon was viewed a certain way from the outside, but he ingrained himself into our culture, and he gravitated to those dudes that I mentioned. And like Corey was a great player for us. So when you start to collect too many people that are not of that mindset, then it's hard to really get it off the ground with the way you want to build it.
John Robinson, NFL general manager, in studio with a 66-43 career record, by the way. Not the worst.
Titans fans are loving that right about now. What's Brian Callahan? 3-18.
The worst win percentage.
The worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
By the way, this is an aside from John Robinson. Yep. It's amazing to me, like the amount of Titans fans, if I criticize Brian Callahan or where the team is now,
right,
that their response is, I mean, the Lions and Browns have been dealing with this for 70 years. And I'm like, okay, that's the standard that you're going to hold yourself to, or the two historically worst franchises in the NFL? Like, that's where we are. Anyway, just had to put that out there.
Yeah, that's the new era, the new mentality, right?
How about set the bar higher? How about compare yourself to the top of the league and where you want to go instead of the bottom?
That should be the bar.
Yep.
Hey, who's reaching the bar right now? We're entering the second quarter of the season. Do you have teams in mind that are true Super Bowl contenders already, just through the first 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the first quarter of the season, and you're really looking at teams like Buffalo, like Philly, like Detroit, like Tampa, like Green Bay. I mean, I would even throw Pittsburgh in there. I mean, it's a veteran.
So
head
Tampa
coach.
is for sure to you.
They're banged up, right? They've had a lot of injuries. The offensive line's banged up, but I just think they've got a lot of grit, a lot of moxie. Just the way that Jason's kind of built that team. I think that they're a player, and then I think you can't cast Kansas City aside. I know they're 2-2. They've gone to what, like 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls or something like that. They've got
they
look good on Sunday against Baltimore.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
They're the Chiefs. They've got and they're going to start getting guys back, right? I mean, they got Worthy back the other day. Hollywood's out there. Rice is coming back here at some point. So,
but how do they sustain this? Like with the offensive line banged up or just not good at certain spots? We know the wide receiver injuries. They piecemeal their running back core together. Last year when Pacheco gets hurt or whoever, they find Kareem Hunt, they bring him back in. He's back again this year. I mean, I know it's Patrick Mahomes, but they still have to play defense and they still have to block and protect and catch the football and get open. But they're doing things that other teams just simply don't do with the role players that they have on their roster.
Yeah, and defensively they're pretty good now. I mean, they've got Karlaftis, they've got Chris Jones, they've got Tranquil linebacker, McDuffie's a good corner. Yeah. They got some really good pieces over there that can affect the game for the opposing offense. But I think when you skin it down, it's Patrick, right? And it's Coach Reid and how he's able to take the skill sets of players and try to maximize it, right? Mm-hmm. Let's try to put the players that if they're good at this thing or they're good at that thing, let's put them in those situations where they can go do that thing. Don't ask them to do something that they're not really good at, because that's not going to be advantageous to the football team. So trying to maximize what the players are good at and put them in those positions. Coach Reid's done a great job of that for a long time.
Those players, Chad, if you have them on your favorite team, they're not going to respond the same way, right? And then you end up being cut, and they end up in Kansas City. They're back with KC, and they just jump right back in line. Kareem
Sounds
Hunt's
a lot example. Like New England back in the day with a lot of different players too. Pittsburgh at 3-1. I have a hard time figuring out what exactly they are long term, Aaron Rodgers certainly looks better coming back from the injury from last year to this year. We know their defense is capable with the players they have. But where do you see them, John, in terms of a team that could make a run in the AFC?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree. Aaron's playing really well. I think the offensive line's coming together. Arthur's there calling plays. I think you see a lot of what we did here in Tennessee with play action and running the football, which was very successful. We were very successful at here. They've got a big target in DK Metcalf. Freiermuth's a good player. They got a speed guy in Austin. So I think there's just a lot of pieces that Arthur has that he's trying to pick his spots.
Can they run the ball?
I think yes, I think they'll be able to run a football. And I think it worked for us when we were here. I'm a firm believer in running the football. And
I was about to say, like, he's got pretty much the setup Arthur does that he had in Tennessee.
Yep.
That's what it feels like.
Does Arthur get another shot at being a head coach?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he's very deserving of that. He's extremely intelligent. He's got great leadership skills. He was the tight ends coach or assistant tight ends coach when I first got here, and I like the way that he went about with his position group, with the players. He was able to articulate to the players what he was looking for out of them.
I think coached a position.
I think he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, coached a position. He was commanded a room, right? And I like the way you would not know he's the son of Fred Smith.
No.
You would not know.
In fact, he doesn't want people to know.
I started the year that he came in, Chad, I think it was like 3 years before I figured it out. It took that long.
Yeah.
You would have no clue that he's the son of the FedEx empire,
Yeah, he's a love ball guy. Like, he loves football.
He hates when people bring it up.
Yeah.
Did you ever bring it up?
No.
Okay.
I didn't really know either when I first got here. Like, I was like,
his skin visibly crawls when you start to ask him about it. It's like very uncomfortable talking about it.
I'm still confused as to why it didn't work in Atlanta with the talent that he had there. Because he had the ability to run the football at the backfield. They drafted top 5 or top 10, at least 4 straight seasons, something like that.
Well, we talked about it yesterday with
there.
Jonathan Papelbon, Major League Baseball, NBA. There's all these retread guys, and Papelbon was even saying, "I prefer a retread guy that's been a Major League Baseball manager before, even if it didn't work out, as opposed to taking a chance with a new head coach." The NFL's kind of in the middle of that. Some people get a second chance. You don't really get why with coaching. And then others, it's one shot, and then boom.
Well, that's general manager, head coach.
Yeah, they're a coordinator the rest of their career.
Chance.
Yeah.
And now everybody, you got to be like 30 years old to get a head job now.
Yeah.
What's up with Baltimore? I mean, this is I picked them to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they've been
exactly.
The injury bugs got them, and I think that they're trying to figure it out. Now Lamar's hurt. Derek's had some fumbles. It's just not clicking for them yet. But I think their
defense too is just giving up.
Their defense hasn't been great. There's a lot of cool pieces there. I think they've got a lot of good football players. I think Coach Harbaugh does a great job. Eric DeCosta has constantly built one that's going to be in contention. And for whatever reason, the stars haven't aligned yet.
Vegas still has them as the favorite to win the division, which is kind of crazy to me, given your thoughts on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, and that's, to me, that's going to be when you get into December football, right? And it starts to get cold. You've got to lean on the run game, and Baltimore's got a hell of a runner there, and
it could benefit them to go on the road to the playoffs. It sounds weird to say, but they're not the 1 seed with all the pressure's on Lamar. They just go on the road, and they're built to go on the road and win.
It was a great game in Buffalo a year ago in the playoffs.
And week 1.
Yeah, so maybe.
I also had Houston pretty high in the AFC this year. I thought they'd bounce back with C.J. Stroud. It's been abysmal. I mean, they're not good. Even with the 26-0 win over the Titans, that's not a good team right now. They've changed over 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, and it's still not working.
Yeah, I mean, they got a new offensive coordinator this year, Nick Caley. So, I think he's trying to kind of find his groove a little bit. Looks like he got into a little bit of a groove on Sunday. But you're right. Like the pass protection has been the biggest issue. And now they're missing Tank Dell, who's an explosive playmaker. Joe Mixon's out. They're trying to kind of piece those.
Just got Collins back at wide receiver.
They're trying, and he's, I think I saw somewhere he was limited in practice. So when you're not full tilt week in, week out, it's hard to click on all cylinders. And I would agree that the defense is, it had been great, it had been terrible. But I think that you're right. They're a team that I think that's talented if they can shore up the offensive line and protect Stroud.
Two pass rushers that are legit.
Yeah, 2 pass rushers. They should be getting Danico Autry back, who's an impact player. He should be coming back in the next couple of days. So, again, I think they have all the pieces in place to kind of get going here. But now's the time. October, this next month is when you really got to start, kind of getting in the groove.
On the list of teams that the verdict is still very much out on, I want to ask you about the Dallas Cowboys. It's rare that you ever say this, but that was a hell of a tie on Sunday Night Football, right? You don't leave any sporting contest say, hell of a tie. Hell of a tie.
That feeling. What was the feeling like when the game was over?
Well,
I felt like I was
not satisfied.
Yeah.
But also, it felt good for Dallas. Like, I mean, I'll say it. Like, I feel like you feel better about Dallas tying that. If you're Green Bay, you feel awful about tying that game after the trade that happened before the season. So, where do you fall on the Cowboys right now?
Yeah, they're one of the ones where I mean, I don't know. I can't quite figure them out. They're trying to get a little bit of a run game going with Williams, and the offensive line's been okay at times at best. CD's he's hurt. He's been out. They add Pickens. They've got Ferguson, the tight end, who's a good player. It's not like they don't have good players. It's just there's no consistency, and it seems like week to week you don't know which team's going to show up.
They throw the football more than any offense.
Yeah, I mean they like to sling it around. So
it's the regular season. Dak's going to be good in the regular season, right? Like that's just December's going to be bad.
Which I will say, if you're gonna live by the pass, you better be really good on defense, because like you could be off the field pretty quickly and the clock is stopped if you're 3 and out and you've thrown it 3 times, and you got to go out and play a lot of defense. So if that's kind of how you're going to go with it, you better be pretty stout on the other side of the football to be able to get stops to get the ball back to your offense.
All right, so
and how good's he going to be without CeeDee Lamb, even in the regular season? That's the question moving forward.
Yeah,
for Dak Prescott.
Some other teams that you're still waiting. Like, so we're going into quarter 2 of the season. Which teams are you really watching to see if they make the turn?
Yeah, I think when that category of teams, I would put Washington in there. Jaden Daniels been out a little bit. They were the hot team last year. Where are they? Where they lost Eckler earlier on the season.
Marcus has been stepping up.
Yep. Had a good game a couple weeks ago. So,
Daniels is back this week.
Daniels should be back this week. Seattle, Darnold's off, and he's rolling right now.
I like their defense.
They're good on defense, but can Sam really continue the trajectory he's on? San Fran, Purdy's hurt and he's not hurt, and they've had a myriad of injuries at the receiver position. Kittle's out, and then the other one's Minnesota. Minnesota was a hot team a year ago. With Darnold at quarterback. Now they've turned it over to JJ, and then JJ gets hurt. Now Wentz comes in. There's just a lot of moving parts, I think, with those teams, Washington, Seattle, San Fran, Dallas, Minnesota, that they got to get their guys back and start playing with some consistency over the next month to kind of see where they're going to fall.
Texans, Ravens. Let's go through a few games with you. So both are staring down a barrel of a 1-4 start. 2 playoff teams from a year ago. Baltimore, I said Super Bowl contender. Texans should be in that top tier of the AFC right now based on the quarterback that they have in year 3. So how does this game play out and why?
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about the injuries with Baltimore, right, and what they've kind of gone through, and now with Lamar being out. But when you just kind of look how they've divvied up the carries, for example. Mm-hmm. So Taylor in Indy and Saquon, I think they're 70-plus carries each a year. And Derek a year ago was, I think, 70-plus, maybe even in the 80s, where he had touched it 80 times through week 4. I think this year it's like 47.
Yeah,
So-
not very many at all.
So they and Derek's a volume runner. Like the more you give it to him, the better he gets going. It's kind of like the train rolling down the tracks. Once it may be slow, kind of taking off, but once it gets rolling, it's humming pretty
He's
good.
not even in the top 20 right now, I don't think, in carries.
Yeah.
For the league.
So I think you got to start leaning on Derek a little bit more. Houston, they've been pretty good at limiting teams points wise, as far as for not allowing them to score ever how they do it. They're kind of okay against the run. They've been really good against a pass. Like we mentioned, Stroud's got to get going. They've had protection issues. That's got to be kind of shored up. But if Houston wants to get in the race with Indy and Jacksonville, like they've got to get going. I think
this is a playoff game to me.
I think it is. I think it's a coin toss, right? It's like who's going to kind of show up to play. Huge has their quarterback. If Lamar doesn't play, it may be advantage Houston. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's huge for Stroud if Lamar's not quarterback on the opposite side.
And Stroud's kind of a weird trajectory from the rookie year to now in year 3, where it's just not clicked.
Even with the shitty start for both teams, like this could be the 7 seed de facto game tiebreaker, potentially. Like that's how I view it. And we're early October. Raiders and Colts. Early October, the Colts look like the best. I mean, it's insane what we've seen. How shocked are you, just based on the way that team is built, what we've seen from them, and the fact that Daniel Jones is doing this?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at all the commentary around Indy in preseason and in training camp, it was like, all right, we got to get this head coach out of here. We got to get Chris Ballard out of here. And I would say, from what I saw in the preseason games of Indy, they look like a different team. They've handed the keys to Daniel Jones, and I think if you look at what they're doing offensively, they're able to run the football, and they're protecting Daniel Jones and allowing him to throw the football. I think he's only been sacked 4 times, which is like third best in the league.
Yeah, and they get so much yardage on first down.
Correct.
Man. Like 7 yards is what they average on first. I don't know how they. I mean, chunk yardage. They're always in third and manageable.
Yep. So, like when you can have drive starters like that, it really allows the offense to kind of get going and have confidence about where they're going moving forward.
They punted on just 13% of their possessions.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Their first punt came in the 3rd game of the year against the Titans.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
first punt of the season.
They're fifth in time of possession. They're 4th in points scored per game. So, I mean, they're really clicking on offense. Now, I would say this about Vegas. They're limiting first downs. Like, they're only...
So it's strength on strength.
I think it is. Like, we're good at this, and they're good in the red zone. They're 4th in red zone defense.
Okay.
So,
Chad, mark this down. We're going to play this game as if it's already been played.
Yeah, it's time.
I think this is a little bit of a chess match coming. And I think that Vegas has to... They got to feed Genty. They got to get the ball to Ballard. They got to keep Indy off the field because Indy's shown what they can do when they're on the field offensively. So I think you've got to kind of play it the other way and let's run the football. Let's take the profit, get it to Brock. Let's see what he can do with it. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Vegas, if Max Crosby can bust through and kind of find an itch, if Pat Graham can cook some stuff up to affect the protection and rattle Daniel Jones a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about their schedule right now. Have they faced a premier pass rusher yet?
The Colts?
The Colts. Crosby might be the best one they faced to this point.
Well, I think,
certainly not with the Titans that they saw.
I think Crosby's one of the best pass rushers in the game.
Right,
so,
that's what I'm saying. Like that top tier, I don't think they faced any of those teams, have they?
Dolphins, Broncos, Titans, Rams.
No.
I mean,
Rams, Jared Verse.
Broncos. They've got some rushers. You said Broncos, right, Chad?
Yeah, Broncos and Rams.
So not
and Rams. Yeah, Verse
but not to this extent, right? Like Crosby can dominate, have 3 sacks in this game.
Yeah, I would put they're different. I think Verse and Crosby are kind of those are impact pass rushers.
How well do you know Chris Ballard?
I know Chris pretty good. Yeah.
The patience that the Ursays have had with him. I mean, that's critical here.
Yeah,
and now he's actually this. Is it fair to? Does this feel like the Tannehill deal, where they've got Daniel Jones here, and one organization didn't want him, and you got pieces around him already?
Yeah, I mean maybe a little bit. Yeah.
So they didn't start the season with Anthony Richardson, but they
Yeah, they invested a high pick in him,
Right,
and then
yeah.
he played, and then he got hurt, and
Right.
then they tried him again in the preseason.
It's not exactly the same way, but I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah,
So
no, there's
stabilize the whole offense.
There's a parallel there, right? And it's if you look at kind of how they're going about winning, we touched on it. It's they're running the football, they're protecting the passer, and hitting some play action plays, hitting some chunk plays here and there, running those strikes and those through routes.
And Pittman is an alpha. I love that. He's playing through back injuries and all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah, that's good for Chris. It's that he's kind of got it going. We'll see kind of where the rest of the season goes.
Old school and Andy Reid against new school Jacksonville, with their general manager and head coach who are younger than Chad and me and J-Rob, which is crazy to think about. Are you buying or selling the Chiefs at 2-2? You're buying, right? You're in.
I'm still buying the Chiefs.
Jacksonville at 3-1. You haven't mentioned them yet. You're out.
No, I'm not out. Like I think that this is going to be one to just kind of watch, right? And I think that you've seen the resurgence of Travis Etienne, right? Like he was written off, former first round pick. Is like, this guy stinks, and like he's playing really well. They've got Brian Thomas, who was an all-star a year ago. Trevor Lawrence has been up and down throughout his entire career.
He still hasn't taken over as I don't think he's leading the way everyone expected he would.
It's just kind of been okay, right? Let's just call it what
average.
it is.
It's very average.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. Strange, the tight end's a good player down there.
Yeah.
I like him. They're mixing Hunter in, so they made a big splash, right? I mean, 2 new hires in Gladstone, the GM, and Liam, and then bringing Tony Baselli back, to kind of head up the Hall of Famer.
Good dude.
He's a great dude. And then on the other side of the ball, defensively, you've got some high picks invested in the pass rush.
Number 1 picks. I'm exaggerating.
Correct.
But
and
you keep drafting high, you're going to be pretty good.
And now I think when you look at like another one on that side of the ball, similar to the runner, is Lloyd, the linebacker. Right? He was a former first round pick out of Utah.
Oh yeah.
Playing really well right now. So. You said it. You've got kind of the old bull in Andy Reid and the veteran, Hall of Famer and Patrick Mahomes versus this
know-it-all,
this upstart team in the Jaguars.
They're like a lot of teams. They've touched the cloak of Sean McVay.
Yeah,
and they have a job.
They've been blessed.
That's how it is. So, what the hell is Liam Coen thinking going after Robert Saleh? Who in their right mind would go after Robert Saleh and talk trash to him?
I've talked to Robert maybe a handful of times. Like I wouldn't go after him,
and that's not the guy you would pick if there was a lineup of coaches and say, I'm going to go after that guy.
No, I would. Hey, let's talk this out. Let's come over here. Let's share a Gatorade. Or
it's not going to be a long fight, right? It's
I don't
UFC
think so.
First round knockout.
I know Liam.
No, that guy's not going to fight. The Keith Bullock story. These guys don't want to fight.
Yeah, well, and all I think of is Liam Coen is a Duval.
Yeah.
But then they get off to a great start. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I was wrong about that. And then I see him trying to fight Robert Saleh, and I go back to the Duval weird, creepy version of Liam Coen.
Saleh's now a coordinator, but you would take him in a fight over how many head coaches right now?
Over how many head coaches?
Yeah, I think we're just talking fights. Like who would actually? Let's do like the.
Do you have to break it out into like former player division of like Dan Campbell, Mike Vrabel in their one weight class versus everyone else, or is everyone thrown in?
Vrabel against Saleh. Are we taking Vrabel?
I don't know. That would be a big ticket.
That would be the heavyweight.
Yeah,
that would be the.
I think if you throw Vrabes, Dan Campbell, Saleh.
Yes.
And then, Aaron Glenn, sneaky,
Quick. Glenn's an interesting one.
You could put D'Amico Ryans in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Mike Tomlin. I bet Mike Tomlin can fight.
I think he can. Now, he's old school.
I know,
He might have a lead pipe and laying around somewhere.
He's part of the NWO.
He can fashion a shiv out of anything.
Yeah,
but around him.
I want him on my side, is what I'm saying.
No question. But then you got the other side of it's like Sean. I'm kind of got the Sean Payton look here a little bit with the glasses. Probably going to want to go read somewhere and let's just talk.
Sean Payton doesn't want to.
Andy, Coach Reid's probably going to just go get a pizza or some chicken fingers and talk it out.
Yeah, they're gonna. If this is a wrestling, if this is WWE, Andy Reid's the guy who kind of sits in the corner of he's there at the end of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do anything for the match.
I'm putting Mike McDaniel pretty far down the list of guys that are going to want to fight or fight anyone.
Mike McDaniel probably slaps. He probably doesn't punch.
He's the featherweight division. Yeah. He's a light guy. He's not real heavy.
Yeah. Brian Callahan has already waved the white flag, probably.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah, Kellen Moore, he's probably...
No, he's out.
I think the sneaky one is Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he's an older now, but like...
that's a good one.
I would put both Harbaughs on that list for some reason. I feel like John Harbaugh would be sneaky good at fighting.
I think they would find a way to get you in some type of submission hold.
They will choke you out. They will take the breath out of you.
They know the pressure points better than everyone else.
Who are we leaving out?
I mean, you got Kevin O'Connell, who's got a great jawline.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's like a model.
Don't know that I don't know McDonald in Seattle that well.
Pete Carroll will be interesting.
Yeah, Pete Carroll would be scrappy. Dan Quinn, Todd Bowles.
So I'm not taking Todd Bowles.
I don't know. I think Todd's. I don't know now.
Okay.
I think Todd's kind of sneaky, and he's got some size to him. So.
Well, I'm saying who's taking out? There's the only guy that you mentioned, John, that you said may give Vrabel and Campbell a run. Saleh, we're taking him out because he's not a head coach.
Not a head coach. I think you've got
Aaron Glenn.
You got McDermott. I think he was a wrestler or something. I saw somewhere recently.
He's in good shape.
But I do think that if you were to, just let's handicap the field a little bit here. You're talking about Campbell. You're talking about Vrabes. You're talking about D'Amico.
Who's winning between Campbell and Vrabel?
I think you're talking about
you taking Campbell or Vrabel?
Aaron Glenn. I'm going to pass on that one.
I'm taking Vrabel. I would.
I don't know.
We've talked this before. You take Campbell?
I don't know. I feel like I look at both guys and I think that they're the type of dudes that are just going to figure out a way to do it. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Mike Tomlin effect.
They're the same, but
they're
opposite.
both giants also.
Dan Campbell will be emotional at the podium. Mike Vrabel refuses to show any emotion other than just pure alpha mentality.
He only shows emotion when he wants to show emotion with his team.
Right. Well, I'm saying, there's not a tear has ever left his eye, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other thing is how many quadruple venti espresso coffee drinks has Campbell had before the match?
Yep.
How many cigs has Vrabel put down?
If you put it into divisions, like the 60 and up group, Pete Carroll, I think is going to be very competitive in that division, the age division. Yeah. If you go with the touch the cloak and McVay group,
yes,
Jonathan Gannon, those are going to be some of the weakest fights, quite frankly.
Yeah,
like Liam Coen and Sean McVay.
The
going
AFC South would be really bad.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell. I mean, in good shape, but probably in the weaker fighting division of the NFL coaches.
I think so, yeah.
I just think you have to tier it. Some of these
NFC
are just
North,
not fair.
Yeah, you're right. That would be good.
Like Mike McDaniel versus Mike Vrabel in an AFC East matchup is not fair for Mike McDaniel.
No, that's
no one would sanction that.
No, that would.
What about LaFleur?
We'd have to go. We'd have to go to Dubai to sanction that one.
Yeah,
I think LaFleur would scrap.
I think that would be a surprise to most. Excuse me.
He would be good in that McVay area of younger coach. I think he would perform well in that division. Again, you got to have separate weight age divisions. I think for this to be a fair fight.
Yeah, it's not like the WWF or WAB, whatever it's called now, where they just put 58 wrestlers in the ring and then whoever's last. I don't think you can do that with this. I do think you have the classification, system, something to really make it more fair.
Let me give you guys a total wild card, and I've got no opinion on how this fighter would perform.
Okay,
Sean Payton.
See,
that's one that I saw, and I'm thinking I have no idea how he would do.
Sean Payton would shiv you and then put the shiv on someone else and then blame the other person.
Yeah, John, do you have any thoughts?
Well,
on
here
this?
I do think this. I think with both, if we're talking about these divisions, right? I think that if you're in the and I don't know how old Sean is, but I would let's just say he's in the Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, that division.
Yeah.
I think that Andy's probably and not to saying he's not competitive, but
Sean Payton's 61.
So I think Sean is going to study up on your injury history. He's going to study up on everything, and he's going to strategically attack a weak point at some point on your body.
Yeah.
And attack that. Like he did with Drew Brees.
You're saying that he's like Mark Zuckerberg as a UFC training guy? Like he's going to find the right strategy and go after it?
He would negotiate as part of Bountygate. as well.
Yeah.
He would take you. He would be very strategic with this.
Dylan brings up a great matchup. Dave Canales versus Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
Dylan.
like the proper age, weight range we're looking for
I
a
don't
fair
know.
fight.
I don't know much about Canales at all.
I know, Dave. Like I would go Canales. Like I think that
That's quite the confidence from John on that.
I like
go
Dave.
Canales.
I think they'll probably both put it in an algorithm first, and then see what
See
that
what
kicks
AI
out.
spits back out.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Run it through a couple filters first.
Yeah, I was always told you never were about the algorithms or the analytics.
it's the new thing. I saw it on the Today Show this morning.
I told you hated it.
Yeah,
How many fights have you been in?
a couple
the
when I
years.
was younger in high school and in
College ball?
Yeah, and there was a couple at practice that broke out.
I've just been in one.
Were you ever in a game fight in either high school, middle school, college?
Never.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really have many game fights. There was a practice one time where.
By the way, I said game fight, not gang fight, for
okay.
those that are
Game.
listening.
No,
I want to
no.
clarify that.
No. At practice one time, as me and an offensive lineman got into it pretty good, and he was trying to punch my face mask.
It's stupid. It's an idiot
It was,
test.
and I just grabbed him by the throat and like squeezed as hard as I could until like he couldn't. I mean, I didn't kill the guy, but like it's
Sure. Kevin Mawai told me we did a feature.
That was like a dad strength move. Just hold them off while they swing violently and wear themselves out while he's punching you in the face mask.
If you swing on a guy that's wearing a helmet, you can't play for me. You're an idiot.
It's a disqualifier.
You're breaking. Get out. Just go. You're hitting the waiver wire. Excuse me. Kevin Mawai told me a story once. At the bottom of a pile, we did a feature of what goes on at the bottom of a pile, and he said the craziest thing I've ever seen is when the scrum was taken on this brawl in this high school football game he was playing in. They get up, and there's a guy holding a shoestring around someone's neck at the bottom of a pile.
really.
That's about as hardcore of a story I've ever heard. And Kevin was just very nonchalant. He's like, yeah, so like we just like separated them stuff and just went on about playing. He said it was just how we did things.
Yeah, I didn't know he was so close with Warren Sapp.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in those.
Yeah.
I was in a couple of those scrums. We played with a guy. He was a transfer from a big school, and like he was a little.
There was a reason he transferred down, you're saying, and it wasn't because of his ability?
And a reason he played linebacker.
Yeah.
And I could kind of see through my face mask, kind of in the pile him, and he had some guy by the bag, and the poor guy started squealing. And
gosh. Woo. So
that's about as bad as it gets.
Disqualifiers when drafting players. It's easy for me to do this because I've never been a GM. But like there are certain things that Hutton said if you punch at a face mask, you can't play for Hutton. But my issue now is if you have the ability to come back from injury and like finish out a season, especially for a team that's relevant and good, and you opt out after one good year in college. Now, I'm not talking about opting out of a bowl of the Peach Bowl, right, or opting out of the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I'm talking about opting out of a season. There's a lot of talk about this.
Yeah.
With Jermod McCoy at Tennessee. Now, Jermod McCoy hadn't said a word, and everyone's saying, hey, he wants to get back and play. But if it was ever leaked or I knew that he's ready to come back, 10 months after an injury and won't because his agent is telling him not to.
Yeah, that you're done.
Disqualifier. Am I crazy to say that if I was a GM?
Those are all things that you got to take into account. Like, what's the reason? What's the severity of the injury? Because everybody heals different, right? So to say that like you got a high ankle sprain, well, some guys will come back from that fairly quickly. Some guys it takes 6-7 weeks maybe. I don't know. But I think you just have to get the full context of what's behind the reason of why the player made the decision that he made, and then make your decision on it.
Remember when Chance Warmack hurt his thumb? He was in a contract year, and he just said peace.
Oh yeah.
I think that was that the Wisenhunt year or no?
I remember
we were in Indianapolis.
I was here.
Trying to mess up.
Oh, you were here, so it was.
Yeah, I was here.
Yeah, so you know this.
Then you've seen that.
We were in Indy.
Disqualified.
Hurts his thumb, and he just said, "Peace. I'm going to go. I'm taking it to the house."
An offensive lineman hurting
Can't
their
play for me.
thumb is like
Can't
you
play
or
for
me
me.
stubbing their toe around the house. That's just something you play through if you're a true offensive lineman.
Look
right?
at John. He's like, you just went numb over there. Now you want
It's
to fight.
also
don't you?
that's a
Now
different
you wanna fight.
position. I mean, that's like not a. I don't know. That doesn't feel like a position if you're playing on the offensive line.
Yeah.
That you have any thumb injury that's going to stop you, unless a surgeon is telling you can't get back out there.
Well, I think with the mindset of that, like I was around, a lot of good offensive linemen, but two of the toughest hombres I was ever around was Logan Mankins in New England and Ben Jones here in Tennessee.
Yeah. That's a great one.
And Logan had something was going on with his knee one time or something. I don't know the severity of it, but I mean that sucker would tape an aspirin to his knee and go play. Like it didn't matter. I mean, it could have been torn in there. I don't know, but it was like, give me what you got to give me. Tape 2 Tylenol to it, like whatever. Put the brace on. Let's ride. So that's the mindset that I was always trying to look for.
And Ben Jones the same way.
Ben had that.
Ben Jones is tough as boot leather now. Like that dude would. You want him going to the mat with you.
So
there's strong and there's country strong.
In
to
your
me,
entire
that's
career,
Ben Jones,
he's the toughest player. Him and Mankins. Trade deadline coming up about a month from right now. When do GMs really start to make phone calls and get things going? Because again, we previewed. We're just now starting the second quarter of the season. You're trying to figure out what you have, what you need. Are you already doing that right now? Are you calling around or no?
Well, there's some names that are being floated around for sure, and personnel staffs are going through those guys. Some of maybe the more high profile guys, those are a little more secretive, and then teams are still trying to assess where they're at. Right, it's still early in the season. If you're 1-3 and you've had a bunch of guys who are hurt and you've got some guys coming back, you may not want to be a seller right yet because you could kind of catch fire here over the next month and a half.
And you're waiting too because of contracts, right? Like you're going to let the other team pay a couple more weeks.
Yeah, take you off the hook, and then you've got teams, and then get into the monetary component. Like you've got teams that are willing to take on salary because they have the space or they make it work because they do think they're going to make a run. You have teams that over the next couple of weeks they're going to be like, well, we're kind of out of it. It looks like we're going to be out of it. They're going to be sellers because they want to dump some of the money and get the picks. So,
and you're probably trading for a guy who has a contract expiring, more than likely.
Typically,
so you want to get something for the player if you're the team.
Yeah, and if you're taking on extra years, then according to where you sit cap wise, you may have to restructure the contract to take it on, but. Either way, it's probably a little early to see, those moves kind of go down over the next 3 or 4 days, but certainly over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's going to start to heat up, and you're going to start to see names kind of matriculate around.
And you just said if you're a seller, you just set a board where you're just like, hey, this is the bottom. This is as low as I'll go on an offer. So don't even call if you're not going to do something, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you've got a value that you've placed on the player because, again, you're talking about the locker room, and there's a lot of factors that work there, but you're setting a value on it, and you're making the decision if somebody meets that offer. And then who's the team that you're trading him to? Like, right, is it in the division? Is it in, the AFC or the NFC? So all of those factors are, being talked about collectively within buildings as stuff presents itself over the next week or two.
I got one more for you. Did you work with Dillon Gabriel at all in the draft process?
Yeah. Super intelligent guy, very smart, meticulous note taker, great personality, a very hard worker, tactful. He's played at a couple different spots in college. I loved him. Like he was, he would take me through. I watched film with him. He would take me through the personnel grouping. He would take me through, all right, here's what I'm seeing. We motioned this so I could see what, maybe the nickel's doing and I needed to change the protection here. So he talked me through, and he had, I would say a high football and a high quarterback acumen of how he was going to attack the position. Now the biggest thing with these quarterbacks is the college windows versus the pro windows. Those windows close quick, and defensive and coordinators, they're a little more how do you say, tricky with their tells. It may look like it's middle of the field open, and then all of a sudden the middle of the field's closed, and they may bluff here and drop here. So there's a lot more. There's a lot of moving parts in football in general, but I feel like at the pro game, there's a reason why they're pros. Those guys on defense, they're a little bit more coy with what they're going to deploy before the ball snapped. And then the quicker you can kind of process that as a quarterback, get the ball to whoever's open, is really going to dictate the success of the offense. So
we find out if he's got that, really.
Yeah, but as far as for preparation, love of football, he checked all the boxes.
thanks for joining us in studio.
Yeah, it was great to be here with you guys. Just kind of chop it up for a little bit.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. You're going to interview for some more jobs soon?
I don't know. I mean, the team's got my number if they want to call. I interviewed twice last year. And
There's a few teams that need to be a rebuild.
Yes, yeah. There's
Just saying. It's all your fault, John.
there's a few that come to mind.
It's all your
come
fault.
back around.
Yeah.
On behalf of all the fans, it's all on J-Rob.
Yeah.
God.
It's funny how life comes full circle.
Yeah. And,
Have a little fun, guys.
J-Rob, we trust who we ask.
It's sports entertainment. Have a little fun with it.
Good to see you, man.
Great to see you guys.